Pick and process mushrooms. That's the goal today. I have a favorite spot that I want to go to, but the route to get there on the normal path is sort of restricted. Hey, some little chantarelles. So we were trying to take another route around, and at a lot of points it really just narrows down into an ATV path. And then there's this big clay pit up ahead here. I didn't really want to get stuck there. Like, people have been through on some side-by-sides or ATVs, but I'm just out here with my Highlander, so I kind of bushed it on the side here in case anybody else comes along. And we're going to try a little walk. Hey, look at this! Right underneath here too. More chantarelles. Maybe we stopped at a good spot. So, let's see what else we find. It might be bad for trucks, but it's good for tracks. There's a wolf track there, and then over here we've got some little long-toed weaselly tracks. What else can we see in here? Maybe that's it. Maybe those are a mink and a wolf. There's a washed out track here that looks like it might have been a raccoon. There's some little ones right here that look like they might be squirrel. Oh, here's a good one. That looks like a squirrel track there. There's all 4 tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4. A squirrel bopping along. Great. Great for tracking. Yes. Another wolf track. And the lovely Delphanie leaving her prints in the clay as well. What do we got here? Suillus.
Oh, they all came in. That one's kind of mucky.
Yeah, too soft?
A little bit.
Alright. There's Hobble Bush. So the berries are not really quite ripe. They have these big roundish leaves and these little brown antler-like buds. So there'll be another couple of weeks before they're ripened up. Here's another mud puddle with more and more frogs. And also lots of cute little rodent tracks all through here. Somebody's been running along in here. Squirrels or chipmunks maybe. Hey, what are you so excited about?
Ta-da!
Look. Delphine was gonna walk right past them.
But I stopped and saw them.
These are nice oyster mushrooms.
Oh my god, I'm so happy.
Look, there's oyster mushroom beetle. Little red head and a black body. You almost always find those guys in there, but these ones haven't really been gotten by bugs yet.
No.
There's a good one there on your knife tip, eh?
Yeah.
Focus. There they are. Nice. So these guys are growing on a dead sugar maple. And we are going to harvest a bunch of them. Here's some old ones that must have come earlier in the season, or maybe they've hung on there since last year, I don't know. So we usually just slice them off near the tree. The stipe part is pretty tough. They're one of the only gilled mushrooms that grow on trees, and the gills are decurrent, which means that they run from the cap all the way down to the stipe and down the stipe. They typically have a short stem, and the cap typically grows only on one side of the stipe, where a lot of mushrooms the stipe is in the middle of the cap. And these guys tend to grow in little shelves and clusters, so pretty easy to identify. But you should always check with someone who knows. Nice. Some little ones that I don't really know. There's some kind of a blue staining Suillus. See how quickly that blue stain pops up? But something has been chewing away on this one. You can see all the little teeth marks in it. It's a really blue color, eh? There's a whole line of these along the road here. Some kind of a bolete with an orangey cap, yellow underneath. Ooh, very quickly blue staining. Maybe they're the same ones that we already picked, but these ones are bigger. Or maybe they're a different blue staining one. Pretty quick reaction. The cap is very mild to taste though. Another mud puddle and some more good prints. So there's a deer print there. And over here, what is this one? Look at how splayed out the toes are on that one. And then how tight this track is here. It might be a lynx, or I don't really see nail marks in it. It's hard to tell. Another good track. Over here, there's some too big to be a squirrel. Some kind of a weasel or a mink, maybe. There's all kinds of stories in the mud puddles. Where'd it go? There it is. Ruffed grouse. So we just scared one up. And now there's this other one here. See if I can get a clear view of it. There was one over there. See his head moving? So there's a flock of them here. They're all grown up babies pretty much. There he goes. There's one for the camera. Well, there's some fairly clear raccoon tracks here. And there's a little bit of moving water over in this mud puddle, so it's not just a rain accumulation. There's some water movement. This is an old beaver dam that's all grown over in raspberry canes and joe pye weed, and then you can see a couple of dead trees before that got flooded out on the other side, but it's all dried up, and there's just a bit of grass and cattails in there now. Just a few paces down the trail, there's a nice bear track there, a little bear, and There's another nice one here. I grabbed up some of those orange ones that stain blue, eh? We're going to identify those when we get home. Although by the time we get back, they'll be pretty much black from tip to tail, right? Mm-hmm. All stained up. There's 4 of them all popped up right from the same spot here. Too bad this isn't a catch and cook grouse video. There is my shadow, the shadow of the cameraman, and an acorn, and an acorn, and an acorn. So if you pick acorns, you know that you don't want to pick them when they're green like this. These are early aborted ones. The cap is on really solid, which is usually a sign that it's an aborted acorn, unless they've been chewed off by squirrels or maybe knocked down by bears. So sometimes the bears will climb up the tree and eat a whole pile of them. That one's... Would you mind to open that for me? I'm short a couple of hands. Oh, you've got one that's almost open. Yeah, rotten. It's probably part of why it's been pushed off by the tree. And what about that one? It seemed soft when I bit it. It looks good inside though. What I noticed about these early ones is often you can collect them and you won't get nuts out of them, but you'll get a whole bunch of weevils. Usually a weevil for every acorn. That one's rotten too, so 2 out of 3 are rotten so far. If you like to eat the weevils, then you can collect these early ones up and just dry them out for the weevil. Number 4.
This one looks okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one looks real good. We could grab some if they're just on the trail. Why not? Look at, we've already got tissues because they've got a runny nose. We've got 3 kinds of mushrooms, 4 kinds of mushrooms, a couple of beer cans that we found. Maybe we'll throw that toad in. No, don't eat toads. Gross. More mud puddle stories. Here's a really nice wolf print. You can see the nails on the very front 2 toes. Nice clear heel pad. And it just is cruising along here through this mud spot. Some of them, like these ones here, are not really registering nail prints, and then other ones are. So if we jump up ahead here, see there's really clear nail prints on 1, 2, 3 of the toes. Just ran right in there, that chipmunk. Light shot. Can you see anything up in there? Or is it just a big hollow tree? Hard to see. But you hear that chipmunk? He just ran down the other side of the tree. So I guess he went up, came out the crack. It's worth all that walking for this view. And the acorns, and the blueberries, and the mushrooms. And the spikenard. What else was it worth it for? Something wise. Say something good. Oh, too slow. But look at this view. Look at that. Did you think of something?
No.
Nope, not come back around then? Okay. It's pretty good.
I forgot to say the tracks.
Oh, and the tracks. Yeah, there was lots of really good tracks. So, unbeknownst to me, Delphanie had some other plans on this trip. What have you got?
My hammock.
A hammock. So now that we've exhausted ourselves picking all these mushrooms, we're gonna have a little break in the hammock. So if you watched the Creekside Venison Burgers and Big Wild Year question and answer, you might have seen that we broke a hammock, or the hammock ripped. So Delphanie contacted the company, and they very quickly replaced it with a brand new one. And we've tried this one out at camp, and this is going to be its second go. It's really, really comfy.
Are you coming?
Yep.
Oh, this is too wet.
Got a little push for you. It's a dead one. Don't push too hard.
Oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah, it is good. There's a problem though.
What's that, babe?
I gotta get up and turn the camera off.
Just let it film.
Just like the battery's got 5 hours left, the card's got 5 hours left.
Sounds perfect.
Or just roll and roll and roll. Oh, I better go get it. No black chantarelles on this trip, but we still had a good adventure and found some good things. So the next step is to take these back and identify those blue staining boletes, dry out the Suillus, and I think we'll cook those oysters up.
Yes.
We're going to cook the oysters up. So two videos are kind of blending together here. So the cooking of the oysters is going to be shown in the video previous to this one, where we do a fish pie. So if you want to see these guys get used up, that happened in the last video. Otherwise, unless we find something new on the way back, the next update will be the identification of these blue staining boletes, and then that'll probably be a wrap on this video. But our fingers are crossed. We're hoping we find more mushrooms on the way back, so we'll see. Here's a big mass of mushrooms on this maple tree, and if you get a good look underneath, I'm not sure if I'm in focus there, but they're very toothed. So they're also very, very fibrous. See those long teeth on those guys? So a toothed shelf mushroom, they're not edible, and they basically also are indicating that this tree is soon to die. Yeah, so these were growing on a dead stump. Oh, they're really yellowy inside, eh? That's cool.
Really good.
You said they smell really good?
Mm-hmm.
They look like, I don't know if I can smell. I can't smell right now, I have that cold, but they look a little bit like the oysters, except
And
that they have
like
their
the same.
stem in the middle, and the veins are not very decurrent, like they sort of are stopping at the stipe, but they might be something similar. You want to look them up? Mm-hmm. The oyster mushrooms, Boletes, they're also a really, really diverse group. So could be something that belongs to that group. pileated woodpecker. I just couldn't get the camera to quite focus on it, but I might be able to see it again up ahead. Delphanie's pointing it out, I think, so let's try again. This is a patch of Joe Pye weed. It's called Joe Pye. And you can use it for tea. So it's got, oh, I shaded it out. Where's the sun? There we see how it's got a hairy stem? Is that showing in the sunlight now? And whorls of leaves around the stem. And these big purpley flowers. There we are, we're back. So there were a few more things before the video ended. Here's our final haul. We've got Joe Pye weed. We've got a bunch of beer cans that we found. We've got oyster mushrooms. We've got Suillus. We've got those blue staining boletes to identify. And also we got a couple of other white ones with yellow flesh to identify. And that is the Joe Pye weed. That's the end of our video. Some of these mushrooms will just get dried up for the big wild year, and some of them are going into a fish pie, which is in the video previous to this one. So if you want to see some of these getting used up and you didn't watch last week's video, that's where they are. Until next time.